On July 7th, 2007, the NASCAR industry was hit with some wild news. Aaron Fike, a 24-year-old NASCAR driver, made national headlines. Aaron was with his fiance in the parking lot of Kings Island, an amusement park just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. After being notified of suspicious activity, police arrived at the park. Fike would attempt to flee the scene, but would eventually be caught. He was hit with a felony drug abuse charge, admitted to racing under the influence, and unsurprisingly lost his seat in NASCAR. Today, we're going to talk about Aaron's rise and fall in NASCAR, as well as the surprising turn his life took. Right before the video starts, make sure you guys leave a like if you enjoy, and if you do, make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a video. Anyway, let's get right into it. Aaron Fike was born in Galesburg, Illinois on November 24, 1982. At a young age, he followed in the footsteps of his older brother, AJ, in open-wheel racing. In 1999, AJ began racing in the USAC Silver Crown Series, while Aaron started in the following year in 2000. Aaron impressed during his time in USAC and became the youngest driver to win a Silver Crown race, breaking Jeff Gordon's record. After a couple of years winning in USAC, Fike took the next step in his career, jumping to Indy Lights in 2002. He raced 2 full-time seasons, winning 2 races and picking up 3 podiums. 2003 was a big year for Aaron, as he made 2 starts in ARCA, dipping his toes into stock car racing. He raced back-to-back races at Charlotte and South Boston, finishing 16th and 9th respectively. This wasn't bad at all for an open-wheel driver in his first stock car races. However, 2003 came with controversy. In mid-March, Fike was arrested, then later released for a DUI. His father, Don, issued a suspension for his son, forcing him to sit out for race 2 of the Indy Lights season, and forced him to miss a midget race in California. In 2004, the 21-year-old was thrown into the deep end. No ARCA races, and no K&N races. Aaron was going Busch Series racing for Mike Curb. To no one's surprise, Aaron made some mistakes, and he wrecked. A lot. 8 DNFs in 13 races highlighted the rookie season, but it made sense when you think about how young and inexperienced he was. Aaron was used to winning and running up front, not running in 30th place with some of the slowest cars in the field. In 2005, Aaron continued racing part-time for Mike Curb. He also signed a development driver deal with Bruco Motorsports. With Bruco, he shared the ride with Greg Biffle. Aaron showed some improvement, but he still wrecked a lot of cars and only had 1 top 10 in 24 races. In 2006, Fike raced primarily for Mike Curb once again, but got a 3-race stint with Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Unfortunately, this stint with KHI went horribly. He wrecked on lap 1 at Nashville and finished 42nd. The next week, he finished 31st at Kentucky, and a few weeks later, he wrecked with 55 to go at Loudon. So it's safe to say he made a pretty bad first impression, and then he was let go by the team. 2006 was going to be the most important year of Aaron's career. Luckily, his first full-time NASCAR opportunity came to fruition in the Truck Series with newly found Red Horse Racing. This was a great move for Aaron. Honestly, he did not have much to show for his 3 part-time Busch seasons. Taking a step back, with a guaranteed full year with a somewhat competitive team, this was a great chance for him to grow. And Aaron did exactly what he needed to do in the first half of the season. He finished every single race, completing all but 6 laps. He only had 2 finishes outside of the top 20, and collected 4 top 10s and a top 5. Furthermore, he boasted a top 10 average starting position. Things seemed to start coming together for Aaron, but that was until July 7th. After Aaron's first career NASCAR top 5 at Memphis, the Truck Series had an off week. That Saturday, he decided to spend the day at Kings Island Amusement Park with his fiance Cassandra, who was a Red Horse Racing crew member. Someone walking by their car in the parking lot noticed something suspicious and called the cops. When the cops arrived at Aaron's car, he drove off and struck an officer with his side mirror. After fleeing and then being stopped, Aaron's fiance admitted to the pair using heroin after substances were found in the car. Cassandra and Aaron were suspended from NASCAR indefinitely just a few days later. Aaron's misdemeanor possession was dropped and he pleaded not guilty to his felony possession of heroin. However, 4 months later, Fike pled guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge. He admitted that he had been in addiction recovery since the incident and had almost died to his addiction at least once before. He was sentenced to only 2 years of probation after agreeing to establish a nonprofit anti-drug group called Racing Against Drugs. Of course, his family or team couldn't believe this. And neither could competitors or NASCAR themselves. Red Horse Racing owner Tom DeLeach said, "All I could think was, no way, not Aaron. He's a good kid from a good family. There were no telltale signs, no indications of trouble. There was no warning at all." On April 8, 2008, ESPN writer Ryan McGee sat down for an in-depth interview with Aaron, just 9 months after his incident at Kings Island. This interview brought many pieces of Aaron's story together, as the public was still largely in the dark about exactly what happened to him. The interview opened with Aaron's confession that he had shot up the day of the Memphis truck race, the race of his first career top 5. He had been using heroin for about 8 months. It started by using once in a while, then once a week, then for the weeks leading up to Memphis, he was using daily. Fike said that his addiction problem started all the way back in 2003, after breaking a wrist and having severe back pain. The doctor prescribed him Vicodin, but once he ran out, he turned to the street to other painkillers. His Charlotte pill dealer eventually convinced him to move up to heroin. At the time of the 2008 interview, Aaron was back into racing, taking part in USAC sprint car races on the weekends and working for his dad's construction company. And more importantly, his recovery was going very well. However, concern grew in the NASCAR garage about the rampant substance abuse throughout the garage that came with the new young drivers. In less than 8 years, 7 drivers were suspended indefinitely for violating NASCAR's substance abuse policy, all of whom were under the age of 27. Kevin Harvick made a harsh but true point. NASCAR still hasn't caught him. The police did. Jeff Burton had this to say: "What are you looking for? A guy who looks tired? That could mean he has a cold or had too much beer the night before. And you might hear rumors, but rumors are a dime a dozen in the garage. Until there is a real chemical test, I don't see how you can know for certain if the guy racing next to you is clean." In 2008, NASCAR only administered drug tests when they had reasonable suspicion of a driver being under the influence. Aaron's incident obviously brought these issues to light, as no one had even suspected him and he was racing at 190 miles per hour plus under the influence. "I think it was easier to do it that way a long time ago," said Fike. "But I was able to race with heroin in my system, so the policy didn't work with me. And I don't think it worked with Tyler. I've always said that if they tested 80% of people in pit road, they'd find that half of them were doing something." In this quote, Aaron was referring to Tyler Walker, another Truck Series driver who was suspended in 2007. The only reason Walker even got caught was because Mike Skinner recognized his symptoms. Once again, not a NASCAR official. With Fike's incident in mind, NASCAR announced that beginning in 2009, they would do random drug tests. Aaron's NASCAR story took a surprising turn several years later. In August of 2012, Aaron announced that he had successfully completed NASCAR's Road to Recovery program. This was despite having some bumps in the road. Fike never had any intention to return to NASCAR racing, but getting that license was powerful to him. It showed that he had complete control of his life and that he was on his way to winning his war on addiction. You never really beat that type of addiction totally, but he seems to be really doing well with his life. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.